Hello, it's Luigi here. Welcome to Vookcast. Let's go! Ho ho!
G'day folks and welcome to the Vookcast, Australia's Nintendo podcast. My name's Oliver Brandt and in this episode I'm joined by Angelo Valdivia.
Hey paisanos.
And Luke Henderson.
Hello there.
We've got a great episode lined up for you today. There's a whole bunch of news to go over. It's been a little while since we did this, and Nintendo has been surprisingly busy of late. So we'll jump right into the first story. Nintendo financials. Just my favorite time of year, and it happens 4 times a year. So the Switch 2 has sold over 10 million copies. It's 10.36 million units sold. It is the fastest selling video game console of all time. It's not a particularly close competition. This has outsold the Switch and the PS4 and the PS5, and nothing has sold as fast as the Switch 2. And we're not even at the holiday period yet, so this is probably going to just balloon over the next few months. 84% of Switch 2 owners owned a Switch before, which makes sense, people upgrading from Switch to Switch 2, but I think 16% of people who did not own a Switch is a pretty substantial amount of people who are getting into Nintendo now. Mario Kart World has a 92.37% attach rate. 9.57 million people who have bought it, which means just basically everyone who has a Switch 2 has Mario Kart World. That's not surprising given the bundles, but still.
Well, I've got it.
Yeah.
It's even crazier when you think that the bundle goes away soon.
It does, yeah. But we've got the Pokemon bundle now, so that'll be around a while longer. Donkey Kong Bonanza sold 3.49 million copies, which is pretty good for a game like this.
That's a surprise to me, a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, and it's not the 8 million copies I think that something like Super Mario Odyssey did in its first quarter, but in its first year rather, but for a console that the Odyssey came out 6-7 months after
7 months, yeah.
after the Switch did, given Bonanza was a month later, that's pretty good. That's a really solid showing for a game like that.
And don't forget, when Odyssey launched, it launched the same day as Assassin's Creed, something or other, one of the newer ones, and then
Origins or
Wolfenstein.
something.
Yeah, it was that was a big day for gaming overall. I remember that day vividly.
Yeah. Drag X Drive did not get a mention, so didn't sell 1 million copies.
So I had to put it in there because I was just yeah.
There were a few other minor little details. We found out that Nintendo is solely focusing on Switch 2 Switch 2 development going forward, which makes sense. Why would they continue developing Switch 1 games?
We know they've got Switch 1 games still in development on their way. There'll be probably 1 or 2 more announced before they're done. I don't think their final game for Switch will be Rhythm Heaven or Rhythm Paradise, whatever you want to call it. But it's basically they've just confirmed that going forward, the focus of development will be on the new console, which is fine.
Oh my god, I've just sorry. There's just a pop-up on this Mac that I'm using. Add effects using hand gestures. Turn on reactions to express yourself with a hand gesture during a video call. What the fuck does that mean?
When you do this, the
Ollie.
little thumb pops up on the screen.
Flip us the bird. See what happens.
Just turn it off.
What I think is funny with the 10.36 million consoles sold currently for Nintendo, Switch 2 is their worst selling console of all time. The Wii U is above it at 13 million machines. So The Wii U is currently not the worst selling console from Nintendo. It's the only time it's going to have this honor. After the next quarter, after the holiday quarter, it will definitely retain its crown, or sorry, reclaim its crown as the worst selling console. So
yeah, I mean, I did see people being like, "Wow, this is the worst selling console of all time." It's like, obviously they're trolling, but it kind of reminds me of like, you know, that Polygon article where it was like, "Oh, here's why Mario Kart 8 will be the worst selling Mario Kart," and they like showed like, you know, entire series history in a pie chart, and then just like Mario Kart 8. It's kind of like that.
There's a great webcomic that I used to read called VG Cats, like way back in high school. It was like 2006. And I remember when the PS3 and the Wii launched in America at the end of 2006. And there's this set of panels there where like the PlayStation 3 executive in the comic was like going on, like, you know, just spruiking the console out loud, like caps lock, blah, 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 going on about how great it is and all this power and stuff like that. And then there's in the next panel, there's just someone representing Nintendo just constantly handing out consoles and just taking money just quietly, just doing that off to the side. And then like someone finally buys a PS6 and then the executive's just like, yeah, we sold a PS6, fastest selling console ever, because they're completely sold out, because remember that there were no consoles to buy at that point because the Blu-ray diodes didn't exist. And then just Nintendo just continued, just keep selling and just wasn't like saying anything at all. It just kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think
I'll see if I can find that comic actually, and I'll link it.
sure.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting situation right now where like Xbox is clearly just like given up, right? Like they're just not trying anymore. Microsoft is just like sort of doubling down on making Windows more Xbox-like, and it seems like future Xbox consoles are just going to be like Windows with an Xbox launcher, which whatever. PlayStation just like keeps going towards the high end. You know, there's been rumors of a handheld, but like that's gonna flop because it's Sony. They just don't care enough to continue supporting stuff.
If PlayStation Portal didn't exist, if they said, hey, we're going to make a dedicated handheld that can stream your PlayStation 5 games from the cloud or your console, that would have been fine. But instead, they did this half measure of, oh, you can do this, but that's all you can do. And now if they come out with another handheld, people will go, what the hell are you on? You've just sold us this piece of shit. Now you want us to buy it? Yeah.
Well, I mean, according to the rumors, right? Like, and these are just rumors that nothing's been confirmed. But there's going to be like with the PlayStation 6, there's going to be a handheld variant of the PlayStation 6, and it will play all PS4, some PS5, and select PS6 games. And it's like, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard.
And the whole reason this is gained traction is because a few months back, PlayStation put an update out where your PlayStation 5 console could run in like a lower power state. So if you didn't need the game to look, didn't need the game to run in 4K with all the bells and whistles, you could have it run at a reduced rate, which is essentially the same as taking a game that's docked on Switch or Switch 2 and putting it in handheld. That's where people got this idea from, and it's like, yeah, but Sony love to copy Nintendo on a lot of things, but I don't think they'd go ahead and do a dedicated console version and then a handheld variant of it. That just seems like unnecessarily confusing.
I mean, I could see them doing it the same way that they did it with the PS3 and the Vita. But it's going to be a half-assed effort at most, and we'll sell like 10 million units, and then they'll just stop making games for it, because that's what happens with everything, including the PSVR 2, where like I think it was a couple weeks ago they said that like there are no first-party games in development for PSVR 2. So it's like, if Sony themselves can't even bother to continue developing for it.
They only had one game. They've only had one dedicated game since that thing launched. So they were done with it when they launched it. And even to this day, I cannot tell you of a game that's been announced exclusively for PSVR 2. Like you look at like the what was a game that was announced?
There was an Astrobot game like 8 years ago. Oh, not VR2 though.
Yeah, that was VR. But like, so they announced the Thief VR game, which looks amazing, but it's like that's PC VR, MetaQuest 3, and PSVR 2. It's like it's going to everything. Deadpool was only MetaQuest 3, but that's because that's an exclusive thing developed sort of in-house, or partly in-house. But everything else, it's always the same, where it's like, it's either for all platforms or not for PlayStation, because the people know there's no market for PSVR 2, because you got to buy the $1,000 worth of console, then the hardware for the VR, and
What about that Horizon game?
That's what I'm saying. That's the only one they did. Same
Yeah,
with
Oh,
was
yeah,
that
PlayStation.
yeah,
like
that's
Call
right,
of a
yeah.
Mountain or whatever?
Yeah, that's it. The one that
Which-
had Ozzy Osbourne in the ad.
which looks beautiful.
R.I.P.
But it's
Which,
like,
by the way, just on that, in the most recent state of play, exactly one PSVR 2 game was announced, and it was from Microsoft. The only PSVR 2 game that was announced in the most recent state of play was Microsoft Flight Simulator.
yeah,
So,
and it's not even a dedicated game. You can play that game on PS5 without that attachment. You don't need it for it. So, yeah.
I'm sure that the support is only there because they supported it natively on PC with the.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we already have done all the work. We can just port it
Yep.
over. It's fine. So,
But yeah, so Switch 2 is doing bonkers numbers. It'll probably slow down eventually, but it's certainly got a really good head start, which is good to see. It's a good piece of hardware.
I mean, the one thing we didn't talk about is the fact that Nintendo upped their forecast. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just like a little bit. They upped it by 4 million units. So obviously doing better than they thought they would.
And we know that that like software is selling like super well, especially Switch One software. They upped their Switch One software forecast by 20 million units, which is bonkers. Like this is having a knock-on effect where like it's not just selling Switch 2 games, it's selling just a shit ton of Switch games as well.
Yeah.
As people upgrade and buy games that are like naturally kind of enhanced on Switch 2.
I mean, and some of these could be Nintendo Switch 2 editions of games, which Nintendo had to complicate the reporting of those things. So.
Yeah. We'll move on to the next story. Finally, a Metroid Prime 4 trailer that shows anything Metroid Prime-y. So just like out of nowhere, like I think Nintendo's sort of given up on trying to market this thing because this wasn't like.
You have to remember this came out a month, 30 days before the game launched, which is when they kick in the cycle for games they don't care about.
True. But yeah, so they just like posted a new trailer on all sorts of things like socials and Nintendo Today probably, I'm guessing. And yeah, it looks quite good. It looks like a Metroid Prime game. Which
To the point where it still looks like a Metroid Prime game from 2002. Am I right, fellas?
What I like about this trailer is it's not showing any new locations, because I've watched all these trailers because I'm a Metroid fan. Every location's the same we've already seen in all these other ones, but this feels like it's just clips of somebody who's actually playing the game and not some marketing person who's trying to make the best Metroid trailer and has no idea what Metroid actually is. So,
yeah, it's like they got like a bunch of people to like play through the game and like recorded all their footage and just like cut together the interesting parts, which is frankly all you really need to market a Metroid game. Like they've been, I think what was it, like Good Vibes Gaming GVG did a video about like how all of Metroid's trailers had been bad, and it's true that none of the trailers have really been particularly interesting. They've just been like, here's how to open doors with your brain, and like there's a motorcycle, and like Silex just like turning up and being there but not doing anything. Like it's been not particularly compelling marketing, because it's like you don't have to market to Metroid Prime fans, right? Like they're already kind of on board because it's a new Metroid Prime.
Mhm.
If you look at those trailers, there is nothing that tells you what that game is. This one at least gives you like a bit of the flow of gameplay. Like these are the kind of things that you'll be doing. You'll be fighting and solving puzzles and scanning enemies, and like it.
I was gonna say, and scanning one enemy. Well, I will say we did actually get a brief clip of a new boss we hadn't seen before. So
it does seem that combat is designed to be faster paced, which I think is good. Provided it doesn't become like super combat heavy, because that's not what Metroid Prime is about. But yeah.
Look, I know I'm slow, but I just realized that this game is less than a month away. Holy crap.
And Nintendo of America just had preview sessions last week for this game. It's like cutting it real fine there, fellas.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure it's going to be good, but I should be way more hyped for this game, but I'm just really not. You know what I was more hyped for? Fucking Metroid Prime Hunters on the DS. I was bouncing off the walls ready for that game.
And the whole reason will be because Nintendo's not shown anything off previously about this game that makes you go, yes. It's always
Well-
that bland. Okay.
But there's also just been no communication about it, apart from like, here's a trailer. Like, we don't even get a full direct about this thing. This should be the big flagship. I guess because they've just pumped out another Pokemon game. But damn, dude.
Yeah, for whatever
Right,
reason,
Angelo,
they
can I
think
offer
Kirby
you
Riders
3
is
Kirby Air Riders directs instead?
Yeah, I know, right? Because I'm gonna need those for sure.
I will say, like,
Jeez.
they did launch the Amiibo, and there's the new bike one, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, but wait. So how much does that retail for in Australia? Is it more expensive than the game?
$45 US.
Yeah,
45
so-
Australian dollars, sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say. Yeah, all right.
I think it's
but,
$45 US as well because of the tariffs, but
Yeah, it's the same price in
But
the
that's
US dollar sticker amount.
but that's kind of my point though. Like, if you're using like products you have to buy outside of the game to hype up the main game itself, like that's a problem.
yeah.
I want to be hyped for the game. I don't want to be hyped for the toys that might come with
I
the game.
think for people listening, like, you should really treat this not as Metroid Prime 4, but like as a soft reboot of the Metroid Prime series. Like, consider this the first game in the series, because that's kind of what it's going to be, right? Like, it kind of has to be. Like, it's been so long, it's essentially just an all new development team. Like, pretending that anyone at Retro now is the people who worked on Metroid Prime back in the day is a ridiculous
I don't know, man,
idea.
because if you do say it that way, then the expectation is that there's going to be a Metroid Prime 5. And I don't think there's going to be a Metroid Prime 5. I think this is going to be it for the Metroid Prime.
I think there's going to be
I mean,
more
I'm willing to eat my hat on this one. Don't get me
3D
wrong.
Metroid
but, like,
games if this one is received well. I don't think they'll be called Prime games. I think there's just going to be 2 concurrent series going like how Mario has. I think the Prime. I think this should not have been called a Prime game. This should have just been like Metroid
No.
Beyond or something.
It really should. I mean, because like looking at it, like it feels a lot like what Halo 4 was.
Mm.
Yeah.
In a sense, like that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But to me, like I actually really enjoyed Halo 4. I thought Halo 4 was actually a really good game. Graphically, it was incredible. Like the end of the 360 era, that game looked like incredible on the 360. And I'm looking at this game, and it's coming in pretty hot at the beginning of a new console's life cycle. I'm just like, this game doesn't look that much better than what we got 23 years ago. lads.
And at the end of the last console's life cycle,
Yeah, because it is
Yeah,
on
that's
Switch
true.
One as well.
which
like
they've kind of forgiven. Ever since the Switch 2 Direct back in April, we've not seen anything from this game on Switch. It's all been Switch 2 footage, which I get, but it's like, guys, you have to promote the old version as well.
Yeah, and like I said, like it might be great, and I'm still gonna buy it day one and not play it for another 2 years like I do with every other new game. But like I'm still really curious to see how it's gonna be. So yeah, I'm coming in with a bit of doom and gloom, but that's just because we've got pretty much nothing on this game, and it got its development time rebooted, and then it was radio silent for years, and then Nintendo came out. Oh, by the way, here's the trailer we made for this game that you guys have been waiting like 20 years for, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
It's
Yeah,
just-
you're right. Like we got so much more about Kirby Air Riders. No one gave a crap about like Kirby racing games before.
Well, and what's really
Ah.
funny is that the network test is happening this weekend as we record, and all the reactions I've seen, apart from these weird people who have a hard on for Kirby, the reactions just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like all the reactions to him, they're like, yeah, it's all right, which is what I expected. Yeah, it's
Like we don't even know if there's voice acting in this game.
in Metroid. Yeah, I
But,
mean,
like
there is-
there was voice acting in Corruption. Like there were full dialogue from like all the hunters and things like that. Like we don't know if there's anything.
No, there is. So when I was playing it back in April or May, whenever it was for me, that was May. There is voice acting. You know, you walk up and like the Galactic Federation troopers like, Samus, I'm glad you're here. They need support in the room behind me. I'll unlock the door for you, and you know, stuff like that.
Okay.
So
this
Well,
actually
some bit in the
does
trailers.
sound a lot like Halo 4. If that impression is anything to go by. Yeah. So yeah, that's like out in less than a month. That's cool.
So I will say, I did put it in there. I didn't link it, but the pre-order bonuses in Australia, JB Hi-Fi have a really cool keyring, but EB Games have a Metroid Prime 4 mousepad.
Yeah, it's actually a
Pre-order
desk
bonus.
mat, so it's quite a bit bigger than just a mouse pad. I'm really excited for it because it looks to be the same size and dimensions as a Yu-Gi-Oh playmat, so I would be really excited if it is that size, because I'm just gonna rock up to locals with a Metroid playmat.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. Everything you just said in the last 30 seconds really disappointed me.
I know some people went out and pre-ordered the game because of these bonuses. That's not me. But I think in terms of what a pre-order bonus is, like giving a cool looking mouse pad for a game for Switch 2 that has a mouse function is kind of like a pretty cool thing.
I just hope that this telekinesis crap does not get in the way of me having fun with this game. Like if I'm gonna open the door, I just want the door to open. I don't want to play a mini game to open the door.
I hope that there's more to the telekinesis stuff. Like you can use it in combat or like smash an enemy into another enemy or something. Like just something that makes it interesting other than just opening doors. Because literally all we've seen it do is open doors. That's it. It's just like pull a lever and it opens a door. It's like, who cares?
Yeah, man, that was cool in 2007. It's not cool anymore.
New DLC coming for Pokemon Legends ZA, which Pokemon Legends ZA came out like 2 weeks ago. Was it 3 weeks
a month ago, man. It was in October.
Jesus. I don't know. But yeah, so there's DLC coming. Lets you enter an alternate version of Lumia City, which is Hyperspace Lumia's, which is like all fucked up and stuff. The guide for the new adventure is a donut chef who partners with Hey Hooper, which is a really funny idea because Hooper has rings and donuts are rings. Go off, I guess. There are a couple of new Mega Evolutions revealed. Chimecho and Baxcalibur both got one. Yeah, there's stuff that if you buy the DLC now, you get like a couple of outfits and there's like events and stuff happening as well. Yeah, I mean that's coming on December 10, which cool. I'm glad to have more of that game. It's a really good game. So
I just think it's hilarious that this DLC is coming essentially 2 months after the game launched, but for the last game, it's been like 12 months to get the DLC out.
So this is the thing: is that like, you know, we know, not even from leaks, we know that this game was delayed by a year internally. They've spoken about it in the past. So this game would have come out in November or October of last year, and then the DLC probably would have come out as the October slot in this year. So they've kind of been sitting on it a while. But like they're kind of in a cramped timeline because we kind of know that the next generation of Pokemon is going to be announced in February. So they really only have like a little bit of time to sell it, because like the second they announce a new game, like the legs of this one is just going to be completely cut off. They're not going to be able to sell DLC for it anymore. It's just not going to happen.
You mean it will become an actual legend? People won't care about it?
Yeah. I mean, it happened with Pokemon Legends Arceus. Like they released that in January, and then it started generating really good word of mouth and sales. And then they announced Pokemon Scarlet and Violet like a month and a half later, and just sales dropped off. Like there was just nothing anymore. So
That's kind of sad considering that Legends Arceus was the better game.
yeah, Legends Arceus is very much the better game. But Legends ZA is also really good. I think the real-time combat system, I don't know if I've spoken about this on the show, but the real-time combat system is really, really solid.
I've seen people say that on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people saying that. So, look, lads. All right, I was gonna hold this for later, but I'm gonna come clean. Look, I have been playing Pokemon Legends Arceus lately. I have dipped my toe in after on launch day, the game coming out, and swearing off of not being tempted by Pokemon at all. I was there in line and I just bought it, and I got the stupid little code for the DLC to get your little outfit and hat. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of excited about that. But I still have not put in the cartridge, and I won't until I'm like 50, because there are other games I'm gonna play. But I'm still very curious about playing this game, and after playing Arceus, I'm kind of back, because then I was also playing Pokemon Soul Silver on my phone using my backbone. So I'm kind of back into Pokemon at the moment, lads. We'll see how long this will last.
Well, I mean,
I
it's a
will
good
freely
time to
admit-
be getting into Pokemon.
I bought Arceus. It's in my little plastic case there, full of Switch games. Because I think it was down at like $42 or something somewhere, and I was like, oh, why not? I've never taken the card out of the case. The case might still be in plastic, for all I can remember.
Arceus has a really strong start, I think, and like conceptually, it's really interesting. It's a really interesting take on Pokemon. It's kind of like a free reign kind of feeling Pokemon game. The downside, I feel, is that when you really want to just progress the story or the quests, you are constantly roadblocked because you have to keep updating your your Pokedex. It's like, oh, in order to do anything interesting, you've got to go out and like throw crap at like 10 Pokemon so you can tick that off of your Pokedex, and then you've got to use this one particular move on it to tick that off the Pokedex, and then you've got to go out and catch 20 of these. It's just like, it's just that I feel like this is the Pokemon Go-ification of Pokemon done to an extreme level. We already had that a little bit in Pokemon Let's Go, where in order to catch the Pokemon, you had to do some Pokemon Go crap in that. But in this one, I just feel like it's just way too much. Like,
Yeah. So like the
the
concept
idea of having to catch like 30 of one Pokemon to just move on to something, I really find that so draining. That's the thing that really stops me from enjoying this game.
Yeah.
But every few months, I keep thinking like, oh, I want to play some more of this game because it seems like a really interesting game. You get back in time, there's some cataclysmic event, blah 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 blah. It's like, hey, this sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, the concept of that is that you're creating the first Pokedex, and that's why they need all that data. And like, that's a really neat concept, but like, you don't have to commit to it as hard as they did.
Absolutely, but even like lore-wise, like you're just some kid who fell into a time hole, right? And then now they're all like, oh, now you've got to go out and write the entire world's Pokemon encyclopedia. Whereas like lore-wise, like Professor Oak spent his whole life just like doing 150 Pokemon and researching them and everything like that. And then we're
Yeah.
sending out this 10-year-old to go and catch like 30 of one Pokemon just to be able to tell, you know, how much one weighs on average or something like that. It's just,
Yeah.
it's completely overblown and it just completely roadblocks like
Yeah.
any real progression in that game.
But the good thing is that Legend ZA is like way more focused in that regard. There's always something to be doing that isn't just busy work. Like there's like, you're working towards a promotion match, which is just like some trainer battles, or like you have to do some rogue mega battles, which are like the boss fights in Legends Arceus, like you fight the cleaver and shit like that. It's like that, but on a much bigger scale. So yeah, there's always like something moving the story forwards and something to do that actually feels like you're doing something and not just throwing balls at a fucking P-Dove 27 times.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like apart from that, like I actually really really like the game. I just wish that wasn't the main feature of the game, was just doing all this just such busy work.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I was gonna say,
during
there was a story that I read, and I don't know if it's true or not. I don't think it would be true, but I just thought it was interesting. Apparently, Robin Williams was a massive fan of Pokemon, and he petitioned the Pokemon company that if they ever made a live-action movie, that he would play Professor Oak. And the story that I read was because of his passing, Pokemon company said for Detective Pikachu that they opted not to put the character in there out of respect for Robin Williams. And I was like, sure, that's why the character's not in there. The fact that it didn't fit the storyline at all. But yeah, just because you literally said Professor Oak and it reminded me of that. So
it would have been an interesting game. Sorry, an interesting version of Professor Oak for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if Robin Williams is in there alongside Ryan Reynolds talking Pikachu, I don't think that movie would have gotten away with anything less than an R18 rating.
Interesting thing. So nobody was really sure when the Switch 2 launched if we were going to get more Switch 2 editions after the initial batch that they announced. Evidently, we now know that is not the case. There are more Switch 2 editions on the way. And we're starting with Animal Crossing New Horizons. So on January 15, two things were released. There's the Switch 2 edition of Animal Crossing New Horizons and the 3.0 update, which is for Switch 1 and Switch 2. So on Switch 2 edition, which I think is like an $8 upgrade. So the cheapest Switch 2 edition to date, you get support for the mouse con while decorating, and manipulating your rooms and all of that kind of stuff. You can also use it for like writing messages on the town message board, because you can draw and stuff. And I think for creating patterns as well for clothing.
That's what they do in the trailer. So
yeah, it also supports the camera and microphone. The microphone brings back the megaphone item that was in Animal Crossing New Leaf, where you can just like shout the name of a villager and it will tell you where they are.
I love that idea.
which is
It's
hilarious.
like screaming at your TV, like
Because if you remember, the Wii version of Animal Crossing came with the Wii Speak microphone, and it didn't exist there. But then when they brought the game to 3DS, they put it in.
yeah. But yeah, the 3.0 update also adds a new hotel, which is like a sort of mini pared back version of the Happy Home Paradise DLC, where you get to like go in and be like, hey, this person wants a room that looks like this, like, or it's as if it was on a ship. So you make a nautical themed room for them. Yeah, there's new items. There's a new place called Slumber Island, which is basically like you get a bunch of, I think it's like 3 islands that you can just decorate freely without having to have the resources. So it's essentially just like a creative mode, and then you can share that with people rather than having to like fuck up your town to go with a particular theme or whatever. Mr. Rossetti is back, and you can just talk to him and reset your entire island if you want. You can be like, I hate the way that this looks, just fucking reset it.
Literally nuke it.
Yeah. And then there's new stuff like Lego themed furniture. Zelda characters are going to be in there via Amiibo. And if you have Nintendo Switch Online, you can play NES games. And I think Game Boy games as well, I think, was in the Japanese version.
Yeah, they just said selected Nintendo titles.
Yeah.
And then in what was really funny is Kyle Bossman pointed it out. Like in the trailer, they showed like the Famicom when they were playing Ice Climbers, but then in the list of consoles, the Switch is above it, and it's like, hang on, can you play Switch games via Animal Crossing on your Switch? So that's not the case, but it was the way they worded it made it sound like that.
But yeah,
It's a cool idea because it harkens back to the first Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah.
How you could find old NES games just like by just digging them out of the ground, basically. You just
Yeah.
find those artifacts.
Which is why I say that Animal Crossing is the best Animal Crossing.
what is really funny, and I wish Michael were here to talk about this, but they, if you play an NES game in Animal Crossing, it has a much more subdued border around it. It is significantly subdued compared to the like actual Nintendo Switch Online or Nintendo Classics apps, which I think is really, really funny that like people have been asking for so long for like different borders and like borders that aren't as extreme or like damaging to OLEDs or whatever, and then they're just like, you can have that, but only if you play it within Animal Crossing. That's so fucking
And
funny
only
to
for
me.
like two platforms that they support.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is it was surprising. We didn't know that there were going to be any more updates to this game because they said after 2.0 came out that was the last like major update that the game was going to get.
And that was like 2021. It's quite a long time ago.
Yeah. So yeah, it's shocking to see this. Also, I think you can have 16 people on your island now on Switch 2.
12.
12. Oh, there you go.
Up from 8,
Which, God, I hope they've changed the like, or improved the like joining process. Can you imagine like waiting for 12 people to join your island one by one?
I can imagine that. Absolutely imagine that.
It would be a complete fucking nightmare.
Mr. Rossetti can also just nuke a village's little house that you've built.
Yeah.
Like, you can just like, that person right off. You can also anything that you do nuke, or you get all the resources back, so you don't like have to start from scratch. One of the coolest things they've put in the 3.0 update is you can now say, hey, I need 15 fences, and you can just go increase the number and it'll do 15 at once, not 15, not one animation. Just do 15, one animation, you're done. It's like people have been asking for that since like day dot. And it took 5 years and they finally delivered. So yeah, I just think the most hilarious addition is the Lego stuff. I think is just completely random. I mean, I get it's not because they've got the Lego sets, but it's just like the most random thing ever.
Sorry, I'm zoned out for a while because I had to fight my cat for a bit. But did you mention the mouse controls?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the second thing.
I thought that was really cool. Being able to organize your stuff inside your house using the mouse con.
Also, I think you can organize like your inventory because you can have up to like a shit ton of
5,000 items to 9,000 items now.
Yeah, and you can like organize that using the mouse as well, which is a godsend. Like having to slowly scroll through a list of 5,000 is already way too much, but now being able to like use the mouse, big help.
Yeah.
One disappointing thing is that it's still at 30 FPS.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of built into the game. Like the way that the game's logic works is at 30 FPS. People have used emulators to like try and increase it to 60, and it just fucking breaks everything. So it seems like it would require a bit of an overhaul to do that, which is unfortunate. But at least it is 4K now, so
I suspect too it's probably because of the crossplay between Switch and Switch 2. It just made
Um,
it easy just to ensure that Switch 2 wasn't gonna
I think
do
it
anything
depends. Like
different.
Pokemon Legends ZA can like have a different frame rate, but yeah, it is like there's going to be a lot of like stuff that is intrinsic to it. Like we've seen that Nintendo isn't afraid or like concerned about upgrading things to 60 FPS where they can. I think this is just an instance where they can't. Like it's just too intrinsic to the game that it runs at 30 FPS.
It's probably. I think it's to do with the way the world timer basically works. I think that's probably part of it as well.
Yeah.
That everything is like, to a T.
Well, that's the thing. Like with real-time games, like you have to have a reference, and like a lot of the time, the reference for that is going to be the frame rate because you know that it's going to be consistent.
Yeah.
So
And the other thing that we didn't know about necessarily, but it's inferred, is that the fact that there is a new update for this game probably means that a new full release of an Animal Crossing game isn't anytime soon.
yeah, I mean, I think
The
Which
flip
would be
side to that argument could be that because they've done the update, maybe like how we got multiplayer in Mario Party 8 months before they announced the new Mario Party. Maybe they were testing out features and realized, hey, we can add this stuff to this game and it works.
I think this was probably done by a small team while the rest of the team, because remember there's like a pretty significant crossover between staff on Animal Crossing and Splatoon. We know that Splatoon Raiders is in development at the moment. And the other thing I would say is that like a lot of people thought that we were going to get an Animal Crossing next year, which would make sense if this didn't exist. It would also make sense if Pokopia didn't exist, because I think Pokopia, which is that like little life sim in Pokemon where you're a Ditto, I think that is going to hit a lot of the same target audience as an Animal Crossing would, because it is a life sim and like a village builder and all of that stuff, a decorator and all of that. So I think Nintendo wouldn't necessarily be willing to undercut Pokopia so badly, because like it's not necessarily like Pokopia is a replacement for Animal Crossing. But if Pokopia came out and then 2 months later a new Animal Crossing came out, Pokopia would just not sell. It just wouldn't.
Yeah. I also think, like again, you mentioned a crossover with development teams. We know for Animal Crossing New Horizons, a lot of the development support was done by Monolith out of their Kyoto office. So there's a fair chance that that team could be working on a brand new game as well, because Monolith have a lot of stuff. And their Tokyo team is generally the Xenoblade Chronicles, studio. So I think it's more just a matter of them cooking away in the background, and it'll release whenever it releases. Unfortunately, like predicting what Nintendo's going to do, even though we try our best, we're never right, because Nintendo just does. They'll turn left when everyone expects them to turn right, or they'll go inside out instead of moving forward. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is a really interesting one. We've got our first special edition Switch 2 Pro controller, and it's for Resident Evil 9. What a strange thing. But yeah, they announced a Switch 2 Pro controller that is sort of themed after Resident Evil Requiem. It's $135, which is real pricey. But it looks quite nice. I think it looks. Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, with the price, when PlayStation do their God of War or Astrobot controllers, they're $10 more than their normal, and Xbox do their fancy vapor chamber cloud camo things, they're $10 more than just a straight color. It just seems to be the way now that special edition controllers are more expensive than a standard version. So there's not a Nintendo thing.
But those ones have fancy little doodads, and then this one just has a decal.
I'm not justifying Nintendo charging so much. I'm just saying that everyone else always charges a little bit more for their special controllers as well. So
yeah. That's coming out on February 27, which is the same day that Resident Evil 9 is coming out, but also the same day that Resident Evil 7 and 8 are coming out on Switch 2. Because for whatever reason, Capcom decided that they were going to launch 3 Resident Evil games.
I was reading an interview with the director, sorry, not the director, the producer of the series, And apparently, when they were doing the engine test to see how well it would work, they were doing Resident Evil 7 as the test because that game was completed, it's done and dusted. So they were using that as their test bed to see if if the engine would run on Switch 2 and if they could just port things over. And apparently, the process was so simple. They then said, "Oh, let's see if we can do 8." And they did 8, and it was so simple. So they said, "Oh, let's just do 9." So that's how they came up with the fact that we got all these 3 games. Launching on the same day is just stupid. But it literally came about because they were doing tests initially, which is how we got Wind Waker HD. They were doing tests. Nintendo were doing tests on that to see how things would work. So
yeah, I think the interesting part of that, because I saw that as well, was that basically like they did a whole bunch of like optimizations and stuff, because like it was a fairly simple port to get Resident Evil 7 over, and then they did like a bunch of like a few small bespoke optimizations. And then with Resident Evil 8, they were like, what if we just apply those optimizations before we hit the port button and then just like port it over and see if it works? And then basically it worked flawlessly out of the box. So it was really simple for them to port stuff over. And Resident Evil 9 looks great on Switch 2. We've seen some footage from it and it does look really, really good.
What was cool is when they announced this from the Direct, about an hour after the Direct ended, Capcom put out we'll call it the PC version of this trailer. So you can actually watch the exact same trailer, the same shots, same beats, everything on like the PC version and the Switch 2 version. And apart from the hair's the thing that gives it away. Everything else looks really, really good, which is what I like. Something that you did mention, because I didn't put in the notes, the controller, it's gunmetal grey. It's not a black controller, it's actually a grey controller. And you have to look at them side by side, like I did comparisons with the photos, and that's when you can see that it's a different color. But it's not something you can spot when you're looking at just the standard, looking at the controller on its own. So
yeah, I think what's interesting is like they removed the two-tone look of the Switch 2 Pro controller. So like one of the things that I think is like the visual identity of the Switch 2 Pro controller is that it has those like light gray like shoulder buttons, triggers, and under the sticks, but that's just gone now. So it kind of just looks like a Switch 1 Pro controller at first glance. But no, I think it does look good for the most part. I like the little newspapery kind of vibe.
it would have been cooler if that newspaper print was different on every controller. Like they had like 1 meter by 1 meter print, and you just got a random section of the newspaper.
Yeah.
And I will say I know why Nintendo have done it, but at the same time, the Switch 2 logo in the middle needs to fuck right off. Yeah. If you're buying this and you go, "Oh, I don't know what platform I bought this controller for," well, 1, you'd be an idiot, and 2, it just ruins the whole look. Like you've got Resident Evil, but half of it's burnt out because there's a giant bloody logo in the middle of it.
I think the way that they can improve that is if they moved that logo to like just be embossed on one of the handles for special editions. That would be great. But yeah, it's dumb. Just quickly on that, the fact that 3 games are coming out on one day, they have a really weird situation where you can buy Resident Evil 9 for $108, or you can spend $30 more and also get Resident Evil 7 and 8, which is just kind of a bonkers deal. We don't know how much those are going to cost separately.
Yeah, so they're up on the eShop now, but they don't have prices. So
yeah. But yeah, so like spending $30 together is I think they're like each like $40 currently on like PlayStation and shit.
Yeah,
those games. So you're saving. Like, you're essentially just getting a game for free.
Yeah. What's really cool is in the US, I've asked about here, they've not confirmed anything, but in the US there's the collection, I can't think what they call it, where you can get 7, 8, and 9 on cards. They're game key cards, unfortunately, for Switch, but you get the 3 of them in a pack, and it's $70 US for the 9 on its own, or $100 for the pack. So even if you go the physical route and put that in quotes there, you're still getting a really good deal picking up all 3 games instead of just one of them.
Yeah. Also, on that note, the game key cards, like it's 3 separate game key cards.
Yeah.
For those. So if you like don't really give a shit about Resident Evil 8 and you want to sell that one, you can sell it separately. It's not just all 3 games on one game key card, which is doable. But yeah, that's It's a really weird way to go about it, but I think relatively consumer friendly. All things considered, like it's very well priced. I just wish they weren't all coming out on the same day, but what can you do?
And unfortunately, if you already own Resident Evil 7 or 8 via cloud, you don't get a discount.
Yeah.
That's
If
your
you
punishment for being
were
an idiot and buying
stupid,
cloud games.
this is it. I said this to a friend on Blue Sky. It's like, uh, if you were stupid enough to like buy the cloud editions, which like we warned everyone. I wrote an article when the cloud editions were announced, just saying like, don't buy this, don't spend $100 on a fucking cloud version. Yeah, I mean, this is your punishment. Just think about this next time somebody says that cloud gaming is the future. Think about the time that you bought a cloud game and then you couldn't upgrade to the native version. Just think about that and reflect. This is your punishment. Just stop. Don't buy cloud games. That's a bad idea.
Somebody, I can't remember, some company, is either Capcom or Konami or Ubisoft, but one of them put out there on the actual page, it literally says, "This you're buying a license to play this game," and it's not like super small text buried in the terms and conditions at the bottom. It's like a fairly significant thing. I took a screenshot.
Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe that was like Sega. Yeah, it was Sega with the when they announced the Switch 2 version of Sonic Racing Cross
That's
Worlds.
right.
But yeah. Angelo, are you gonna get the triple pack or
No.
no? You gonna get the special edition controller?
No.
Fair enough.
I will say the other thing that was announced as part of it, so it was a random showcase about the Road to Requiem, and they had the lady who voices Lady Dimitri, whatever her name is. She's also now in Call of Duty. She's one of the replacers. But she was basically talking about like the lore and the story that builds up to this game. And they did confirm that Resident Evil is getting an amiibo in winter of next year of Grace Ashcroft. They've not said
Everyone's favorite character, Grace Ashcroft.
yeah, which is like the dumbest thing ever. But they've not said they've not shown anything about who it is or what it'll look like or anything like that. But the way they worded it in that presentation, it's like this is the first, and there will be more.
Yeah.
So
I imagine there's probably other playable characters within Resident Evil 9 that they will do an amiibo for that they just haven't revealed yet.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Something that Angelo might get excited about, maybe. I don't know if you're a big vinyl person, Angelo. But Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, its vinyl soundtrack is getting a widespread release. So this was previously released in Japan, and in Japan they do a lot of physical releases for music. This is the first time that Nintendo is going to be selling soundtracks on vinyl outside of Japan.
Wasn't Japan CD only though?
No, they had a vinyl.
Okay.
You could get that at the Nintendo store. But yeah, so there are two variants. There's the 2-disc version, which has Select, and then there's the 8-disc version, which comes with basically the entire soundtrack. Obviously mastered for vinyl. It's not like they just slapped them on there, which is good. I do have a bone to pick about a lot of vinyls, especially video game vinyls, aren't properly mastered for vinyl, but that's a whole other thing. So Nintendo Australia are selling them directly, the color disc variants. But you can also get the plain black ones, which is the 2-disc version, right? From Laced.
No, so you can get the 2-disc or the 8-disc set in black from Laced, or you can get the colored from Laced or Nintendo Direct.
There you go. So yeah, the 2-disc set costs 94 Australian dollars and comes with 34 tracks. And the 8-disc set will have will set you back $325 and has 130 tracks. Ordering them from Lace Direct is cheaper than here. Once you add shipping, you're about $40 worth off, so you might as well just get them from Nintendo. So Bill Trinan, friend of the pod, has said in an interview when these were announced that this is a sort of test to see if they want to continue distributing physical versions of soundtracks in regions outside of Japan. Because you can basically get a soundtrack for any first-party Nintendo release in music stores in Japan. I went to Tower Records and there's like a whole section that's just like Nintendo first-party soundtracks. So yeah, this is a really interesting way to look at that. I think going for vinyl over CD, at least initially, is a really good idea because that's more of a collector's market. CDs are just for sort of throwing in your car, you know, at this point outside of Japan. So yeah, Angela, you gonna buy a Breath of the Wild vinyl?
No,
Uh,
not honestly. Like, I just like product releases don't interest me at all. So like, this is cool, sure, but like, it's just another thing that they're trying to get me to spend on. That's not a game that I'm interested in. So yeah,
I mean,
nah, not for me.
I will
fair.
say I'm happy that they're doing it, but at the same time, it's like you just launched Nintendo Music a year ago, and you've been drip feeding everyone Nintendo Music, and you're like, sign up to Nintendo Online and you can get Nintendo Music, and now you're like, oh, also you can buy your music this way, and it's like, do you want Nintendo Music to succeed or do you want this to do well? Like, pick one. You can't have it both ways.
well, you can
And
because
look-
this is for collectors. Like, this is for people who have more money than sense. At the end of the
No
day,
one's buying this to actually listen to vinyls. They're buying it because it looks pretty. That's literally why most people buy vinyl. They don't listen to it thinking the audio quality is superior because it's not. Like, it's super grainy. It has an interesting aural aesthetic. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it is not a superior audio experience to listen to vinyl versus listening to something super high quality on digital.
and songs
Most
that were
people buy it
made,
because it has really cool art.
yeah, and songs that were made 50 years ago, which were made for vinyl at the time, they were made with the idea of how it would sound on vinyl in mind. Whereas Michael Bublé, when he releases a new album, or Taylor Swift, when they put that on vinyl, they're not making those in an analog environment. It's all pure digital. So
so it takes a lot of
version.
the way that you master for vinyl because of like the limited dynamic range and the limited frequency range. Like, you have to be really smart about how you're doing it. You need to mix it entirely separately, master it entirely separately. So a lot of places that release vinyls don't do this. They just drag and drop the track into a glass master, and then that's that. There are a few exceptions to that there, and it's getting better over time. But I enjoy listening to vinyls in the sense that it is an activity, right? Like, this is the thing that vinyls, I think, are good for. Is like, it's something to do rather than just like something to chuck on, right? Like, you have to get up and you need to like get the disc out of its case and put it on there and then move the arm over and then fiddle with the knobs a bit. Like, it's an activity rather than just a passive thing that you're doing listening to music. So in that regard, like, I think it's good, but like, it needs to be done well. And I know that these are done well. But regardless, like, I don't know. I have like 5 vinyl discs, and that's as many as I need, really. I don't need more than that.
I have a Skyrim one, and then when I was at Disney World many years ago, they had a Lion King one, and on the front of it was just like the movie poster print, but on the back was like the sun. It looked really cool when you turned it around, and I thought that was really cool. I will say, Lace Records, they've sort of built a bit of a thing around doing vinyl prints, and just on their actual page right now, apart from Zelda, you've got the Rogue Prince of Persia, Expedition 33, Blasphemous, Civ 7, Doom Dark Ages, Assassin's Creed, God of War. There's like a $500 God of War soundtrack collection, which is like from all the games. Or you can buy like all of them individually. So there's a Cult of the Lamb one, there's Tekken 8, a bunch of Resident Evils, there's the Phoenix Wright. I know they did the Phoenix Wright print as well. So if you are an audio person and you do like the idea of vinyl, they do have a good range. But again, they're super expensive. The cheapest is like $100 for the vinyl, and then you've got to pay the shipping, and the shipping is always expensive from Laced.
Yeah.
Even if you go to the Australia store, you're still paying like $45-50 in shipping. So
that's primarily because it's really difficult to ship a vinyl in a way that it doesn't just get smashed. But yeah. Pikmin 4 is getting a content update. This is a really weird situation where it came out 27 months ago and then got like a couple small updates, and then that was it. But yeah, now there's sort of a semi-major update coming to the game. So there's like a photo mode, has a decor Pikmin, which is like just Pikmin in like funny little outfits, like they wear a hat and a costume or whatever. These were originally introduced in Pikmin Bloom, the walking game. But yeah, now they're there. And they added like difficulty settings, essentially. So there's relaxed mode, where enemies won't attack you unless you attack them. And then there's fierce mode, which is described only as it kicks things up a notch. So like basically enemies are probably just going to hunt you down and kill you. What's weird about this is that this update was announced, but no Switch 2 edition or Switch 2 enhancements were announced. So it's literally just an update to the Switch 1 version of Pikmin 4. Which is super weird. Like,
don't forget they're also like, and in Pikmin Bloom, all this stuff's happening as well, and it's like,
yeah,
stop trying to make Pikmin Bloom a thing, Nintendo. Nobody plays it.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Yeah,
I think like Miyamoto is the only person who like opens up Pikmin Bloom every single day. But yeah,
100% guarantee that's true.
I just in my chair and my cat was staring directly at us. He's not even
I know some people like Pikmin Bloom, like they use it for tracking their walks and stuff, and that's fine. But it's I don't like, it's not a game. You can't play anything in it. It's just tracking metrics. You'd have the same amount of variety as you would in Pokemon Sleep as you do with Pikmin Bloom. It's not a game. It's a tracking app, and I don't think that's worth getting excited for.
what is worth getting excited for though is this update to Pikmin 4, which is what we're actually talking about. Yeah, I mean it looks good. I haven't. I own Pikmin 4. I opened it up, did the tutorial, and then life got in the way, so I literally have not opened it since then. I'm really excited to play through it, especially now that I'm unemployed, so I have time to play Pikmin 4. So when is this coming out? Like soon?
No date. No, there's
no
date.
date.
They've just said sometime in November.
Okay, well,
which
sure.
always, it never bodes well when something's announced and then they go, oh, and it's going to come out in this window, and you go, okay, if they say, oh, it's going to come out in 2026 and it's announced midway through 2025, you accept that. But when they announce this at the end of October and they say this update's coming out in November but we don't have a date for you, it's always like, why don't you have a date for something you announced is coming out in at least either 1 week or 4?
It's because you got to keep your eyes on the Nintendo Today app.
That's true. That's what they're trying to do. Yeah. Is anyone else gonna hop back into Pikmin 4 or start Pikmin 4 like I am?
I didn't even bother with Pikmin 4. I'm not a fan of the series. RTS games aren't my forte. And the Pikmin games, they were fun on the GameCube. And then they did the Wii versions of those games. I was like, okay. Then they did Pikmin 3 on the Wii U, and then that was fine. And then they did the update on Switch, and then they ported the 1 and 2 to Switch. And I'm like, all this Pikmin still doesn't make me want to play any of them. So,
well, I did buy the game at launch, so it's been over 2 years. So I'm due to roll around on it sometime soon.
Yeah. That's coming up soon on the old schedule.
Yeah. So that means it's ripe now for me to play. Now that it's got these extra features.
Yeah. A whole bunch of other stuff got announced for Switch 2. We're just gonna run through them. If anybody has anything particularly that they want to say about any of these, we can go through it after. So Assassin's Creed Shadows is coming to Switch 2. That's like in 2 weeks.
December 4.
Yeah, December 4.
Sorry, December 2nd. It's just before the Metroid.
System Shock Remake is coming to Switch and Switch 2. I don't think a date has been announced for that, has it?
No, not yet.
Yep. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader is coming to Switch 2, which is coming out on December 1. Sayonara Wild Hearts and Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, both games from Simogo, are coming on to Switch 2. They're already on Switch 1. They're probably going to have free updates. We don't know for sure, but they probably will be. That's coming in early 2026. Elden Ring on Switch 2 was delayed until 2026. Shocker. Fallout 4 is getting a Switch 2 port, which is wild. Also comes with a whole bunch of DLC. It's essentially the Skyrim model where they just add a bunch of shit to it.
See, as if that just doesn't get a full Fallout package collection thing. Like 3 in New Vegas and 4. Why don't you put those all out as a bundle?
I think we're at the problem with that is that Fallout 3 and 4, 3 and New Vegas are I don't think they have the code for those anymore. I think they're just I think they lost that a long time ago. Yeah. And there's a new Bluey game on the way. One that was actually made in Australia. By what is it, Halfbrick, right?
Halfbrick, yep.
Yeah, up in Queensland.
Good. Can't wait for that to be riddled with microtransactions.
It's going to mobile first, so
it's a paid mobile game where it's $15 on mobile, and then it's like a like $50 release on console. So yeah, it is a proper premium title. It's called Bluey's Quest for the Gold Pen, and it's kind of like in the there's like an episode where Bluey draws a picture of herself, and it has like this cute little hand-drawn art style that looks like that. Yeah, really looks alright. Yeah, I'm quite excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows. That's probably the big one for me, because the Star Wars Outlaws port was so solid. And Shadows, by what we've seen so far, because we have actually seen proper footage from the Switch 2 version, looks really, really good. So yeah, that's another one that I picked up on PS4 and played, PS5 rather, and played a little bit of, and then just never finished it. But there is a cross save as well. All Ubisoft games basically now have cross save, so I can just pick up and continue playing.
I just tried to watch the trailer from the Nintendo account on YouTube, and the max resolution is 720p.
Yeah, it's fucked up on that. I don't know why they did that. The Ubisoft trailer that they uploaded is in 1080p. So
Well, that's the one we got linked on Vookcast.
yeah, because that's all that was available at the time. And nobody knows why. It's just like the Nintendo one was just 720p for no reason whatsoever.
Best way to showcase your new 4K system. Show it at 1/8 the resolution.
Yeah, I mean it has proper like integer scaling from 720p. So you're good.
I'm keen for Shadows just because there's a lot of stuff I'd like to get back into, and the fact that I can pick up my save from where I left it off on Xbox at the start of the year makes me happy. But that being said, like I love Shadows. I think it's a fantastic Assassin's Creed game because it's less about RPG bullshit like Valhalla was. But at the same time, it's like I really would like some of the older games to come over as well, because I think some of those are better than Shadows. Because Shadows unfortunately still has a lot of that RPG bullshit of armor that has 65, and then you pick up a new set at 66, and so.
At least it is like significantly streamlined in that regard. Like it's not as frustrating as other games.
They dropped a lot of that off from from Valhalla.
Valhalla was the worst for sure. Yeah.
I still remember picking that game. I got code for that game from Ubisoft. One of the guys was reviewing it. I got one for the Series X when it launched, and I remember playing for about 4 hours, and I was running around this island doing all the stuff, and then I finally, hit the water to sail off, and that's when the fucking title card appeared, and I'm like, no, I don't have time for a game like this. It's too much.
I remember they said that like in the lead up to it, it's like, oh, Valhalla is like a much shorter and more concise experience than Odyssey, and it is not. It is not at all. But I just like remember like getting into it because I didn't know that they were like that heavy on the RPG-ish elements where they have like the like plus whatever percent, right? And like I picked up the game and I was like playing it for a bit, and then I like pick up an axe and I was like, this is the same axe that I have, and I was just like, why is this giving it to me? And then I realized that like one of them had plus 0.6% critical damage while enraged, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, and it doesn't matter. There's plus 0.6% critical damage. Like that's nothing. It is just nothing.
What makes it even stranger is you're an assassin. The whole point of an assassin is to get in and get the job done and get out before anyone knows you were there. If you're enraged and running in with an axe.
That's why the best feature in Shadows is that there's literally a switch in the settings that you can turn on that if you sneak up on an enemy, you can get an instant assassination on them.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about your armor being whatever or your weapons being whatever when you fight someone. If you snuck up on an enemy, you can stick your knife in their neck and they dead.
Yep.
Yes, that is how an assassin should operate. This is how the series operated for many years before we got to this RPG over the top stuff.
It's why I like that Yasuke, he's 6'5", he's big, he's strong. You know, he can break down a door, and it's like that's great. But when it comes to like trying to be stealthy, he sucks at it. Like character-wise, it suits the fact that he can't do that.
My favorite
you-
animation in that game is when you do the leap of
The
faith and he like
faith,
lands and he gets out and his like back's real sore. It's so good.
And then like
Really good.
you do it as Noe, and she just like dives off gracefully. And you do it as Yasuke, and he's like, "Oh shit!" He just like falls down
just
like
fucking,
any of
like,
us would do it.
Smashes into the ground and then gets up and like rubs his back. It's so good.
Yep.
There's a trophy or an achievement for that as well, which I
Yeah.
didn't realize. And I got, I'm like, that's brilliant. I like that.
You can also there's also one if you do as Noah if you do a leap of faith but don't land and you use your rope dart to swing away. So if there's a tree and you can grab it and swing away like Spider-Man, you get an achievement for that too.
Okay, I'll have to find that.
Yeah. There's also what I laughed at the System Shock remake coming to Switch and Switch 2 is at the start of the year they announced System Shock 2 coming for Switch and Switch 2 or Switch at the time. And I actually pinged the developers and said, "Hey, are you going to bring the first game to Switch instead of just starting with the second game?" And the response I got back was, "We have no plans at this time." I'm like, "Okay." And then they announced it. I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." I just thought it was
So-
quite funny that getting the second game before we get the first game.
So Luke is responsible for this. Everybody sent him a thanks in the Discord. Yeah. For me, Sayonara Wild Hearts, I mean, it doesn't need a Switch 2 version. It looks gorgeous on Switch, but it is one of my favorite games of all time. So
I put
it's like,
that in the story exclusively for you, Ollie, because I knew that you liked that game.
it's like $18 on the eShop. Like, you should buy it because it's a really good game. Play it now and then play it in early 2026, or just wait until early 2026. I haven't played Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, but like all of the game journals were losing their shit about that before Blueprints came out. So maybe it's good. We'll find out.
I laugh about Fallout 4 being announced for Switch 2 because it's out tomorrow. As we record this, it's out tomorrow for everything else that is coming to. And it's like, okay, great. The Switch 2 is like sometime in 2026. It's like, okay.
I think Nintendo didn't give Bethesda a dev kit because they didn't want another version of Skyrim on launch day. I think that's purely just what happened. They didn't want Skyrim being another fucking release title. So
It's entirely possible. I did laugh. I saw somebody complaining about the fact that the only Microsoft games coming to Switch are Indiana Jones and Fallout. And I was like, yeah, but they're not Microsoft. Sorry, they're not Xbox. They're Bethesda. And the way it's structured is Bethesda's owned by Microsoft. Activision is owned by the Xbox division.
yeah.
So
I think the only like Xbox owned property that I'm surprised isn't Switch 2 native at this point is Minecraft. I really would have figured that Nintendo would have endeavored to get that ready on launch day.
I honestly thought Grounded 2 would have been
Especially
Grounded
because,
1 did fairly well on Switch. So
especially because we know that the Switch 2 now has like server side and like Switch like eShop side support for early access games. Like there is a signifier on the eShop for early access games, and that was, I mean, it's on Switch 1 as well, but you know, that was something that happened along with when the Switch 2 launched, is that the shop got a little bit of an update, and that is something that can happen now. So it would be really nice if they did stuff like that.
I will say too, I think it's hilarious that Doom, the Dark Ages, has now been rated for handhelds. But when they put this out, they were talking about all the Steam Deck shit, like the ROG Ally and all that sort of stuff. I just think it's hilarious. It's like they basically just confirmed a Switch 2 version without saying there's a Switch 2 version coming.
Yeah, it's really funny. We have this thing in like in the Vook Slack, as like whenever a game gets like announced to be getting like a specific like Steam Deck profile, it's like, you know, 3 years after launch, this game is now Steam Deck verified. It's like, okay, so they've been working on Switch 2 optimizations. Like Baldur's Gate 3 got a native Steam Deck version with a whole bunch of like optimizations for low end hardware, and it's like, okay, well, obviously they're just working on a Switch 2 version of Baldur's Gate 3. Like it's gonna happen. We gotta move on because we've been talking about this for a while. Just quickly before we move on to the games that we're playing, Luigi's Mansion is on Nintendo Classics now, so you can play every single Luigi's Mansion game on the Switch 2. So you have Luigi's Mansion on Nintendo Classics, Luigi's Mansion 3 was a Switch game, and then Luigi's Mansion 2 HD was also on Switch as well. So the entire series is playable on Switch 2, which is quite nice.
Angelo's not a fan of it. He's allergic to Luigi's Mansion.
Allergic to Luigi's Mansion.
My bad.
It's all the dust in that mansion, you know.
I'll try better.
Yeah.
And it's
Let's
also
talk about
Luigi's Mansion 2
go on.
wasn't one of those games that we knew about, right? It was an unknown game when it was announced.
What's that? Luigi's Mansion. Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't in
We
that
didn't know about
montage
that.
of games coming, right? Yeah.
That was a newly announced one, which is frustrating because I just want Pokemon Colosseum. Just give me Pokemon Colosseum. Alrighty.
Oh,
Let's
Beautiful
quickly...
Joe. Give us a Beautiful Joe.
Beautiful Joe
And
would
the
be quite fun, yeah.
and the second Metro Prime game. Why
Yeah.
not? Throw that in there too.
Yeah, we'll quickly talk about the games that we're playing. I've always been playing a lot of Pokemon Legends ZA. I got it for review, and then my review was up, and I've still been playing it.
What
I've
rank
also
are
been
you
playing...
now?
What's that?
What rank are you?
In the story, I'm rank infinite.
Okay.
In the current ranked season, I'm like rank C. I'll get to rank A by the end of the day. Yeah. So games that we're playing. I've been playing Where Winds Meet. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but I got laid off, so I don't really give a fuck anymore. So this is like a
What are they
free
gonna
to
do?
play.
Fire you?
Yeah, exactly, right. So this is a free to play. It's kind of like an open world game. That's a little bit Assassin's Creedy, but also like it's a wuxia game, which for people who don't know is like a sort of martial arts genre in China. Think of like Dragon Ball Z before they really just went insane with it. So like Dragon Ball, back in then, it's like there's mystical arts and stuff. Or like Shaolin Soccer. Anybody's watched that? That's a wuxia. Yeah. So it's kind of like that. Ancient Chinese stories and stuff, and it is absolutely massive. It is like if you stitched 3 modern Assassin's Creed games together, it is that big, and it's all just entirely free. The only paid thing is cosmetics, which is just bonkers to me. There's no like story blocks or anything like that. Like you just can play from start to finish the entire game solo without having to pay a cent, which is bonkers. It's a little bit jank at the moment, but that's just because it's a pre-release version. But yeah, I'm playing that. And I also played Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake, which were both quite good. I haven't published my review for that yet, but that is going up soon.
Well, I really want to play those games. They look really neat. I really like 3. Still haven't finished it yet, and I'm playing 3 because I want to play 1 and 2 as well, because those games look gorgeous. They look like good times.
Yeah, the Switch 2 version is really good as well. So yeah, Luke, what have you been playing?
So I mean, I played Jurassic World Evolution 3. Frontier reached out for that and said, "Do you want to play this?" And I liked the first 2, so I was like, "Why not?" I really, really like it. One of the really, really cool things in this one is that when you plop down a toilet block or a restaurant, you can pick from presets. Instead of having Jurassic World, you can make it all Jurassic Park looking. So you can put like the Jurassic Park themed buildings down. Not that there's a lot from that series, but you can do that instead. But then you can also go in and go, instead of having a grey awning, you can make it blue. And instead of having, the pillar on the left of the door, you can make that hot pink. And then the right side can be neon green. There's a lot more freedom in how you want to like customize the buildings if you want to do that, which I really, really like. The juveniles being in the game is fantastic, except for one small thing. The eggs in the game are like teeny tiny. And then every time a juvenile hatches, it's just like... You get like an egg the size of a chicken egg, and all of a sudden you get a Great Dane pop out, and it's just like it breaks like that immersion of you hatching a dinosaur. But that's fine. I played through Just Dance 2026. It's Just Dance. If you didn't like it last year's effort, you're not going to like this year's effort. There's nothing new to go on about there. There is a new party mode, and the character, his name is Dr. Gigavolt. And he's basically, if Dr. Robotnik or Eggman or whatever you want to call him had like a cousin who was like hyped up on sugar all the time and was styled by the Joker, like the purple and green look, but like Dr. Robotnik, like that's what this character is. It's a really weird look. I've been playing more Ball Pit because I'm trying to get through the last of those characters through the final stage, which is fun. Recreation, played through that. I talked about that last time, but it's actually out now, so that's fine. I've been playing the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. playing through that thing, watching the documentaries as part of that. And like I didn't know why Mortal Kombat had a K for in combat, and it turns out because the term Mortal Kombat just couldn't be copyrighted or trademarked because it's just a colloquial, like everyone uses it. So they just changed the C to a K, and they could get the copyright on that in America. So that's how Mortal Kombat
That's
was spelled
kind of
with K.
disappointing to know now. It wasn't just like just to make the word look cool because it was the
like a
90s and
school,
things with the
a
K is
cool
better.
like stylistic choice or whatever. Nope, just
There was actually a practical reason.
Yeah,
A
so
bunch
it's
of
just
suits made that choice.
No, it was the developers themselves. They came up with the alternate. They had a whole bunch of links.
That's what I'm getting at, is that they're just nothing but narcs, yeah. But
It's like what was it? That was Immortals Phoenix Rising previously had the super sick name Gods and Monsters, and I was like, damn. But then they got threatened a lawsuit by Monster Energy. I was like, come the fuck on, man. Nobody's like seeing Gods and Monsters for the PlayStation 4 and being like, is this sponsored by Monster Energy from the Coca-Cola company? Fuck off.
Which is really
at
hilarious.
that point, it's not. But at that point, it's not down to the brand, right? It's down to like whatever judge or whatever is looking over the case and agrees.
Unfortunately.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And then I've also been playing through Anno 117 Pax Romana.
Ollie says as he takes a swig from a Monster Energy drink. Oh my god, what a corporate shill! Look at him. Thanks, Corpo.
I will think it's hilarious that if you remember years ago, the Minecraft guy, he tried to make a game called Scrolls, and Bethesda went, "Fuck you, we own Scrolls, you can't use that." And they're both owned by Microsoft anyway. So, but yeah, I've been playing Anno 117, which is it's like Age of Empires, but less about resources and more about just management of cities and stuff. The review embargo for that lifts in a few days, so I can talk about it now because I won't edit the video until that goes. So yeah, but yeah, I've just been playing just a lot of stuff for review, and I'm still waiting for when the review season dies down after Metroid that I can sit down and play Hades 2. I'm waiting for that one.
Sorry, just before Angelo goes, did you know they make lasagna ravioli?
Yeah,
it's ravioli that. Sorry, my.
Does that work?
We go.
Got
Lasagna
cheese in
ravioli.
there?
Yeah, I guess it's got like cheese and stuff. Lasagna flavor inside the ravioli. Who knew?
You can have lasagna
Let's
soup.
look this
Man.
Lasagna ravioli. So I'm gonna have to look this up now. Okay. This is going to be my follow-up after the podcast, but thank you for bringing that to my attention. I need to know that.
Yeah, Angelo, what have you been playing?
Just one bit of a long one. I'll try to keep it quick. Playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, got back into that since moving into our house and then looking for a house before that and then dealing with buying a house and then having all these other projects I've got going on, like musicals and things throughout the year. Just haven't had much time at all to really spend playing any games or just sitting down and not doing anything at all. So last weekend, my partner and I just phoned it in. We're like, we're just going to spend the whole weekend doing nothing but just sitting down on the couch, just playing something or watching a couple of movies. So we did that. We played Assassin's Creed Shadows for most of the weekend, and it was so refreshing just to go back to that game and just.
That's more so Angelo could stab everyone and take out all those frustrations that comes with buying a house and.
I mean, somewhat. It kind of, but then like when you open up any Assassin's Creed game now, like you just have like 100 things you have to do in the game, like this big checklist. You just open up the assassinations like scroll or page or whatever it is or parchment, and you just got all these rings of people you'd have to go and like scratch off because you're going around and murdering them. There's just so many, but
yeah,
it's still kind of satisfying to go through and just have one more ticked off, which is nice. So that's been really fun. Really enjoying that. Also just smashed through Fortnite, like just an hour here or there over the last few weeks in the lead up to the end of the last season. I hadn't really cared about the season at all, but then I was like, wait, Power Rangers, why don't I care about this? I need to get myself the Green Ranger skin. So then I had to get to level 100, so I managed to do that in 3 weeks. Also kind of bonkers that I was able to do that in 3 weeks. I'm guessing that they just kind of throw XP out for nothing these days, so that was fine. So I managed to get the Dragon Zord and the Megazord skin and got my little Dragon Zord sword dagger thingy so I can call him from the ocean, and I got the Green Ranger skin, so that's pretty cool. And the new season's kind of interesting as well because it's all Simpsons stuff, and I didn't realize that this season's a short one. It's like less than a month long. I'm guessing that Disney license is very expensive.
Oh, they do it every 6 months or so. They have like a feature season that is like a more expensive license, and they change the whole map for that. It usually just lets them make big changes to the map without people getting mad that their favorite area has like been killed or whatever.
Yeah, cool. And that's the cool thing about this is that it's just Springfield, just like completely broken up. It's not like Springfield as you know it. Like it's just Fortnite still. Everything's completely detached, and you've got little pockets of Springfield around the place. But it's still kind of cool to walk around. Like the entire art style is just the same. Simpsons sort of cell shaded thing.
Isn't
which is
isn't
super
the
neat.
Simpsons theme in Fortnite like a non-union version of it or something? I remember seeing something like
Yeah,
that.
I think it was supposed to be a joke that they left in, and then it was removed. It is just the regular recording, but like if you bought the theme song to like play in the Fortnite festival mode, it would be like non-union re-recording, which it's not. It is just the regular recording of the Simpsons
That's
theme.
crazy.
For
That's
some reason,
crazy
it
that
said
they-
that.
That's crazy they don't even try to do that. But it's cool though, because every time you start a match, like whenever you start a match in Fortnite, everyone's just piled into the battle bus and you're all just about to drop in and stuff. But in this one, it starts out with the opening splash screen of The Simpsons, with the Simpsons, and then the battle bus flies through the O, and then it opens up, and then you have the whole island. So it's actually
It's really
well
clever
done.
done. They put a lot of effort into it.
I still
it's
wish
super
they just
fun.
remaster bloody Hit and Run.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, that would be awesome. It does make me want to just play like Road Rage or Hit and Run so much
See,
more.
this is the thing, right? Is that like the rendering tech to make 3D look like 2D is so good now that like you could do a Simpsons Hit and Run that just plays exactly like Simpsons Hit and Run, but looks identical to the show. Like you can do that now.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they haven't. Like I don't know who owns the rights to that now, Simpsons Hit and Run, but
So the actual code and all that is owned by Microsoft because they bought
Oh.
Activision.
well, there we go. Fucking make it happen,
Well,
Microsoft.
If you're into The Simpsons and you like a bit of shooty action, like definitely jump into Fortnite this season. It ends at the end of November, like the 29th or the 30th or something like that. So it's only a short while.
You can have
So
King of the
jump in.
Hill, Simpsons, Family Guy, and Bob's Burger now, all
Yeah.
shooting each other in a game.
I've been playing as Bob in the Simpsons season, which is really funny.
Also been jumping into Red Dead Redemption just because I've been sort of in a bit of a cowboy or modern historic American sort of setting type stuff lately. So that's been kind of an interesting one to go back to. I might try to get to Red Dead Redemption 2 sometime next year as well, just for funsies. But this is an interesting game to go back to. Plays brilliantly on the Series X. Like it's just the same disc that I bought 15 years ago, and it looks and runs like beautifully on that system. So I really do like backwards compatibility on Xbox. That's probably the one thing they're really doing right over there at Xbox is backwards compatibility. It's so good. Also finished the Adventure Powers. Bought that years ago on the Switch. Around the time that it came out, I remember like when it was coming out and Massive Monster were at PAX, and it was before they did Cult of the Yeah, it was before they did Cult of the Lamb, like years before they did Cult of the Lamb, and it was like one of their first releases or something. And it made a little bit of a dent in the Switch at the time. People were kind of hyped up and talking about it on different podcasts and things, but I don't think it was like a huge commercial success like Cult of the Lamb was. But it's really fun. The tone is really good. The animation style is brilliant. All those kinds of things. The only downside is that it does overstay its welcome. It is quite a long game. Each level has like 5 stages in it, and they just kind of drain after a while. It does feel a little bit like busy work. And even in the game, like you have to find for every like thing you have to do, you have to find like these 5 red rubies or something like that. And then you have to spend them on something or whatever. And that's kind of the whole point of the game is like in order to progress in the game, you have to find these 5 jewels, and they're each. You open up a new world, and then within those worlds you go to these different levels, and within those different levels are 5 stages, and at the end of those 5 stages, all those levels, you find the ruby, and then you just keep rinsing and repeating. It's just on and on and on. It just kind of never ends. The story is really fun though. It's a very silly game, which is great. On my car rides, I've been playing Wonder Boy on my Analog Pocket, which is a Master System game, otherwise known as I believe it's Adventure Island on NES. Game sucks. Wouldn't recommend it. It's absolute dog crap. But the reason why I played it is because I remember having it on the Master System when I was a kid. I've still got the cartridge. Just could never beat it though. Could never pass like the 3rd stage. And it is basically impossible to play that game without save states. That game is hot trash. It's so hard. But then I thought I'd play through Wonder Boy on my car rides as well. So my partner drives and I just sit there like a 9-year-old boy playing his Game Boy. Been playing Wonder Boy in Monsterland, which I had on the Master System, but I was curious about the Mega Drive version because I read that that's the better version of the game. And I completely agree. It looks a lot better, but it also has a save system, which is a huge step up. So it's basically a side-scrolling adventure game, kind of like Adventure of Link. But it looks really good. Music's great. Has quite a bit of a story, which is interesting as well. But yeah, I'd never played a Mega Drive game, as far as I can remember, that has a save system in it. Because, Mega Drives were kind of synonymous as like the arcade kind of port system, where like a lot of arcade games came to Mega Drive. So, you kind of play your bit, die, go back to the beginning, play again. Whereas yeah, this one has a save system. Didn't even know those existed on Mega Drive, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean,
and
there
then
were
as I
like
mentioned,
shit tons of RPGs, right? That saved like the entire like
yeah, and
fantasy
they
style.
like Star Ocean and stuff. Like
Star
they
Ocean,
must have
yeah.
had save systems in there. I just never played any RPGs or adventure games on the Mega Drive. It was always the arcade machine.
It's
For
fair,
me,
they
like
sold
races,
extremely poorly in
platformers.
Australia.
Yeah, well, there was that too. But like, when I was a kid, like I was part of like the South American or Chilean community here, and like a lot of Europeans and South Americans had Mega Drive, had Sega consoles. That was kind of their thing. Whereas a lot of other families, like a lot of the other kids at school, they would have Nintendos and things like that. Where I was kind of the Sega kid growing up, so that was my experience with a lot of those older games. So yeah, and then as I mentioned before, I'm playing Pokemon Legends Arceus, enjoying that until I get to the point where I want to progress and I can't because I have to spend 3 hours doing some checklist bullcrap to get further.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Alrighty. Alright. Let's move on to Nintendo 20 questions. I am the game master this week. I have a game that I am fairly certain that we haven't done before. This is just off the top of my own head, not a suggestion from anyone, because it's something I've wanted to do for a little while. So, yeah.
It's a Yu-Gi-Oh game.
Can you imagine?
All right. Well, in that case, is it a card battler?
It is not a card battler.
Okay.
All right, was this game released after January 1st, 2000?
Yes, it was.
If it was released on January 1st, Luke, I'm gonna be so mad at you.
We've already checked. There were no games released on that date, remember?
So it wasn't released after 2000. Or
No,
2000 onwards. It was. Sorry. Okay. Was it released in the 2010s?
No.
Was this released on a handheld platform?
This was released on a handheld platform.
So DS, GBA.
Yeah. Was it released on the DS?
No.
So likely a GBA game. Could be very, very early. Oh, sorry, very, very late Game Boy. as well. Because like
GBA was
Pokemon.
2001.
Yeah, and like Gold and Silver came out in 2000, for example.
Alright. Was this game published by Nintendo?
This game was not published by Nintendo.
Okay. I'll just double check. Was it made for Game Boy Advance?
This was made for Game Boy Advance.
My next question is this game considered a licensed title?
No, this game is not considered a licensed title.
Therefore, it's not Shrek 2. Alright.
I'm always nervous when it comes to Game Boy Advance.
Once you knock out the licenses, it feels like there's licenses at Nintendo. It feels like there's nothing else there, but there's still quite a lot. Was this game published by Ubisoft?
This game was not published by Ubisoft.
Okay.
Was it developed in Japan?
It was developed in Japan, yeah.
Okay. GBA game in Japan. How many questions is that?
I've got 10. Hang on, was the card battler game a legit question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
There were card battles
then,
on the
then,
GBA.
then 10.
Okay, cool. There were card battles in GBA.
Yeah, there were a ton of them.
Was this game developed by Konami?
This game was developed by Konami.
Good call.
Because
I
I'm
don't-
thinking Boktai.
Yeah, I can't think of any, so that's good because I know you know some.
Was this game produced by or directed by, I don't know what you call it? Is Hideo Kojima involved in this game in some form?
Yes, Hideo Kojima is involved in this game.
What? Well, how many GBA games was he doing?
2. Boktai and
Yeah.
the sequel.
Okay, alright. Is this game a sequel?
This game is not a sequel.
Is yours, Luke?
Oh god, what's it called? It's like Boktai, Dawn of the Sun, or Legacy of the Sun, or something.
Just say, is it the first Boktai game?
Yeah, I can't think of the exact name, but I'm just going to assume, is this game Boktai 1?
is going to be really awkward when you find out that there were other GBA games produced by Hideo Kojima. But no, it is Boktai 1. The sun is in your hand. This is a really interesting game,
Nice.
and one that did ostensibly come to Australia, but got such a small print run that it's extremely hard to find. So this is an RPG where you are a vampire hunter and you have a solar gun, and it has a light sensor in the cartridge. And you go outside and it charges your light gun. And yeah, it's a really, really neat gameplay concept. Which can be doable on the Switch now because it has a
death ray.
light sensor. So
Have you seen, this is kind of detached, but have you seen the guy on like TikTok or whatever who's actually made like a proper death ray where it's like this super high powered laser that just obliterates anything?
Yeah.
It looks like there's no way that guy is not on every like Secret Service list known to man. It's insane.
I have to now look up Kojima because I'm like, what games did he produce?
On Game Boy, yeah.
Boy.
He would have had like 2 Metal Gears out at this point. Or 3D Metal Gears. But yeah, no, that was cool, Ollie. I'm so glad I had Luke on my team because I never would have got that.
I see. I will just admit, I did say there was sun in the name, and it's literally the sun in your hands.
Yeah.
You do one.
So my favorite thing, my favorite piece of trivia about Boktai is that in Indonesia, the manga for this, there was a tie-in manga. The manga for this was released under the title Django the Solar Boy, which is just such a fucking good name. Yeah.
I'm looking at the cover art. It's not exactly what I expected. I don't know what I expected. I didn't.
It's a really
approachable.
strange game, especially like when you think of Hideo Kojima. It's extremely non-Kojima-y.
Yeah, it just looks super anime for something that's attached to Kojima.
Yeah.
And I mean like anime is in like children's TV show anime rather than like super weird like depresso commentary about life anime. Like,
Yeah, I mean, if you look up like screenshots and stuff, like it is like a proper like JRPG anime kind of vibes. Like it's all like brightly colored and like stylized
It's
shit.
take Metal Gear and do the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Anime characters in sunlight, not in shadows, and all that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, super neat idea. And I really liked the era of Game Boy games where they just like were shoving shit in the cartridge because they could. Like you had Kirby Tilt and Tumble and like this and like Rumble Packs and shit.
Well.
Yeah. So it was a really, really great era. And then that continued into the DS as well. There were a couple of DS games that had like infrared built into them, like a couple like Hardcore and Soul Silver had infrared built into them so you could connect with the Pokewalker. Yeah, super neat ideas, and unfortunately it's not something that we get anymore. But you know, hopefully someday.
I'm just imagining a Switch 2 game comes out and the cartridge goes, you get this giant thing sticking out of the console, the cartridge slot on your console.
Nah, nowadays you have to buy like, you know, a $50 toy that you just tap on your control stick and that shows up a treasure chest in you.
That reminds me, okay, so there was a toy that like you could get for that like kind of like worked with the 3DS. So if you got Pokemon Sun and Moon, you could get a Z bracelet, which is like you use Z moves in Pokemon Sun and Moon, and it would listen to the audio, and there were like secret like inaudible bits in the audio that would then play the sounds of the Z move through the watch that you have in your thing, because it was like communicating with it like that. And when you used them in game, which
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah,
that's weird. I feel
I
like
have
the
one
last
somewhere.
the last weird Nintendo peripheral thing we got with the Pokeballs with the Pokemon Let's Go games. I love that idea. I thought it was really cool. You play the whole game one-handed and you use the Pokeball button.
Yeah,
as the
you
joystick.
like throw it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of fun.
Ring Fit Adventures there as well. That's a bit of a
Oh, true.
weird-
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like a practical sort of thing. Like it's designed to the whole game experience. Like you can't really play it without that. Whereas this is kind of like a fun little silly peripheral type
True.
thing. It's just an added feature.
I mean, the upcoming one is that Virtual Boy.
Sure.
thing.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, that about wraps up this episode of the Vookcast. Be sure to visit the site, vooks.net, for your Nintendo news, reviews, and everything in between. To keep up to date, follow us out on Blue Sky at vooks.net, or jump on over to our Discord at bit.ly/vooksdiscord. And you can find all of our social information and links for all of the stories covered in this episode in the episode notes on whatever platform you're listening to. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you in the next show.